Welcome back to another episode of the Draw Control Podcast. On today's episode, I am joined by Sophomore on the John Hopkins Women's Lacrosse team, Ava Angello. Last season, Ava played in all 18 games and totaled 40 goals, had 17 ground balls, 30 draws, and 6 caused turnovers. Ava led the team in goals and points and was ranked third on the team in draw controls. In her lacrosse career, Ava was named a US Lacrosse All-American as a senior. She is a two-time first team All League and All-CNY team player, and was named on the second team All League after finishing her high school career. After leading her high school team to state runner-up finish. Ava was also an honorable mention in Inside Lacrosse All-American back in 2023 and was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week 3 times this past season. Welcome to the Draw Control Podcast, Ava, and how's everything going?
Hi, thank you for having me. Everything's great. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on as well. And obviously, we're in the middle of Christmas break. So, how was your fall semester, I guess, both on and off the field for yourself?
Yeah, my fall semester went well. Off the field, school is challenging, but you get through it. Everyone around you is going through the same thing. So it's nice to have that motivation with everyone. And on the field, it was awesome. It's the best part of our day. Lacrosse is it's so enjoyable. Everyone, the team, coaches, they're so awesome. So it's been a great fall.
Yeah. Obviously, being a sophomore this year, what is your mindset like heading into this year as a sophomore compared to last season as a freshman? I'm assuming it's probably a little bit easier, I guess, because you sort of know what to expect. So that's probably one better thing about this year compared to last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a year under your belt is definitely nice. Not only myself, but I would say our team has a lot more confidence going into this year. Our new coaching staff, we all have 1 year with them already. So we're super excited to get started and achieve our goals that we have set.
Now, what have you been working on this fall and then obviously during the off season to get ready for the upcoming season? Is there anything particular that you feel like you want to improve on the most for your sophomore year?
Yeah, so we do a lot of strength and speed training, like weightlifting, 10-yard dashes. We've been doing a lot of that this fall. Just on-field stuff, shooting, dodging, draw work. Let and so I've been really focusing on like getting quicker because the college game is super fast and kind of just gaining muscle.
Yeah, obviously you have to try to be more of a versatile attacker as well,
Mhm.
especially after your freshman year, because teams start to notice your tendencies, especially in the Big Ten. How do you work on that, specifically becoming more versatile as an attacker?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's all about reps. I would say kind of getting that game like muscle memory, I would say, and learning from the people around you. I'm surrounded by some of the best players, I would say, in the country, and learning from them is a great way to contribute, honestly, for my game and watching them.
Now, what has fall ball been like for your team, and what have you taken away just from the practices and scrimmages that you guys have played, and how have the freshmen looked as well?
Yeah, fall ball was great this fall. We really picked up right where we left off, where we ended, and we're just building on that and growing, which has been awesome to watch throughout the fall. Everyone is great. The freshmen are wonderful. They fit right in. They all came in super prepared, and we have a really good looking squad coming up for this season. So I'm super excited.
Now, what are your team's goals and expectations for next season? Obviously, you guys won a tournament game last year, so obviously it's a was a positive season, but I assume you guys want to sort of build off of that and have an even stronger year for your sophomore season.
Yeah, definitely to make it farther, I would say in the two tournaments, but we really make set ourselves for like success and we want to make it to championship weekend. We want to be able to hold that national championship trophy. So we really set big expectations for ourselves and it's awesome because our whole group collectively is working towards that goal and we all have the same mindset. So we're all super ready to get to work.
Now, individually, what do you want to see yourself accomplish for the upcoming season?
Yeah, so the way that our offense works, I wouldn't say it's super individual. It's not just one person. So I would say that it's more of like our team offense. It's everyone contributes. It's not just one person, like I said. So honestly, whatever I can do to help our team accomplish our goals is really what I'm looking to do and to factor into our success.
Now, one thing I do want to ask you, and I'm curious how you sort of feel about this, and if your team has experienced this, is I feel like watching and talking to other players during this fall ball season, it seems like green cards are becoming more prevalent with some of the new rule changes. As an attacker, what is your mindset on all of that? And do you think there will be, do you think you have to adjust something in your game because of the new rule changes or not?
Yeah, yeah. The new greens cards were definitely an adjustment. I would say we played our first fall ball game against Syracuse and they were coming out everywhere. So we kind of had to adjust our ride. So we would kind of have to pressure up a little closer to the, I would say like the 8 and 12, so that we weren't getting as many calls in between the 30s where those green cards did start to come out. So we did make those adjustments. So yeah, it definitely changed our game a little bit, but we were able to adjust and keep playing.
So let's transition now and talk about the beginning of your lacrosse career and work all the way up to where you are today. So
Awesome.
hopefully I don't butcher your town name, but it says that you're from Manlius, New York. I
Yes,
apologize for
manliness.
all right, Manlius. So talk about growing up there and how did you start playing lacrosse?
Yeah, it was awesome. I love where I grew up. Lacrosse is everywhere around our area. It's right outside of Syracuse, New York. So we've had a lot of talent come out of here. So to be able to learn from all those girls around me was great. I started playing lacrosse, let's see, honestly, since I was little. I'm the youngest of three siblings. So I always wanted to do what my older siblings did, and both of them played lacrosse and played sports. So I always just got into whatever they were doing. And when my sister started playing lacrosse, okay, I wanted to start playing lacrosse. So that's how I started playing, and it stuck, and I absolutely love it.
I do have to ask, I know you say you want to be like your older siblings. Why did you stick with lacrosse and not go to hockey? Because I saw that you have an older brother that played in the NHL, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, yeah, I did play hockey too. So kind of everyone in our family played hockey and lacrosse, basketball. But I just fell in love with lacrosse. I would say I quit hockey pretty early. And I looked up, my sister's 4 years older than me, so she's closer in age. So I really looked up to her and I just kind of did what she did, I would say.
Hmm.
And she was playing lacrosse, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna play lacrosse. And honestly, like I said, I fell in love with it, and it has given me so many opportunities that I wouldn't have without lacrosse. So I'm super grateful for the sport.
And you don't get to get checked as much in lacrosse than you
Yes,
do in
you
hockey
don't
as
get
well.
hit into the boards, which is nice.
Now, growing up, did you watch any lacrosse growing up? Like, who's like some of your favorite players and teams that you like to watch the most, I guess?
Yes, I watched a lot of lacrosse growing up. We went to a few of the championship weekends. And I really looked up to Taylor Cummings. I was a big Maryland fan, so it's kind of funny now that I play lacrosse in Maryland. I really liked, like, I would say Maryland and UNC, kind of looking up to like those like really good players. Taylor Cummings was my favorite. So yeah, I would say I those two.
Yeah, and now you want to beat Maryland, so
Now you want
that's
to beat
no
Maryland. Yes.
full circle moment for you.
It is a
So.
full circle moment.
Now, before college, you played for your high school at Fayetteville Manulus. So talk about your lacrosse experience with that school, what you took away from it, and like what's the best memory you have from your high school lacrosse days? Because obviously you guys finished in second place one year, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely loved my high school lacrosse experience. I was super fortunate enough to start varsity lacrosse in eighth grade. So I was able to really grow as a player and be surrounded at a younger age with some of like the best players. We had girls go to Northwestern, Michigan, um, Siena, all different Division I teams. So it was awesome to be able to play with them from a young age. And I think that really helped develop my game. Um, I would say my best high school experience was being able to play with my older sister. She is 4 years older than me. So I was in eighth grade, she was a senior. So that is something that we'll never be able to experience again. So I really cherished that moment, and it really did come full circle because she was the reason I started playing lacrosse, and then I got to play on a varsity team with her. So that was awesome, and that I would say is my best memory.
What was the dynamic like between you guys being in eighth grade playing with all of these high schoolers? I'm
Yeah.
assuming, like, did she like ever like chirp you at all in the I'm just curious how that dynamic
Yeah.
worked.
She was super supportive. She's honestly one of like my biggest role models. So she was super supportive. It was awesome. I because she was on a team, like I knew a bunch of those seniors and juniors that she was friends with. So it made it like a really great year, and it allowed me to like look up to them and use what I saw them do and be able to use kind of those leadership qualities and stuff later in my high school career. So it was great. She was awesome.
And you also played club lacrosse for the Salt City Snipers. So what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was great. I probably have some of my best friends from my club lacrosse team. And I would say that my club lacrosse gave me opportunities I wouldn't have otherwise, in the fact of giving me in front of some of the best college coaches there are, going to really cool places, and being able to play against like some of the best players in the country. So it was awesome. I loved my club team, my coaches, everyone I played with. It was a great experience.
And you also played basketball during your time in high school where you had a lot of success. How did basketball help you out in lacrosse? Because I know the defense translates very well.
Yes, it translates really well. So I would say defensively, it was like night and day. They were this pretty similar. Um, and I would say with the conditioning and like the quickness of the game, that also really helped. But yeah, basketball was great. I love the sport of basketball. It was awesome.
Do you have like a favorite team that you like to watch now?
Not really. I'm more of like I'll watch college basketball every once in a while. I don't really watch professionally. I just love playing.
Yeah.
I like playing in high school a lot.
I'm the opposite. I barely watch a lot of college basketball. I like watching the NBA more, probably because like I recognize the players more in
Yes.
that
Yeah.
than in the NBA. But I'm more of a hockey guy in the winter time than basketball.
So are we. So is my family.
So I'm assuming you are Ranger fans or actually, yeah, or Predators fans because it
We're
says that,
yeah,
yeah,
yes,
that's cool.
we're
That's cool.
Nashville fans right now.
So, yeah, that's awesome. So let's get to your recruiting process now. So, what was your recruiting process like, and what made John Hopkins the place for you versus the schools you might have looked at?
Yeah. So I took my recruiting process as looking for a really strong academic school. I knew that lacrosse was going to end at some point in my life, and I really wanted to set myself up for my life without lacrosse. So to be able to go to a school at one of like the best schools, not only in our country but in the world, and be able to play at one of the highly known best lacrosse places. I couldn't have asked for more. Everyone I talked to, coaching staff wise, player wise, was super awesome, and I really can't picture myself at any place else now. So, yeah, I would say just to really set myself up and play some of the best lacrosse.
Now, what was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college lacrosse? And the reason why I laugh at that is because it said that you scored a hat trick in like your first game, so it seemed like there wasn't a lot of adjustments that you probably had to make as a freshman last year.
There were a lot of adjustments. I would say my first practice was quite the adjustment. You kind of get out there not knowing what to expect, and the speed and physicality of the college game is dramatically different from high school. Like you can try to prepare as much as you can, but it's very different in that sense. So having to play at a quicker pace, having to be able to take those hits, is something that I really had to adjust to.
And also, like you mentioned, you go to a very highly academic university. So how have you learned to balance academics and lacrosse at such a high level? Because that's something that I think
Yeah.
a lot of players, when they think about adjusting to college lacrosse, they mostly think of on the field stuff. But I
Mhm.
feel like the biggest adjustment a lot of players don't realize they have to make is sort of balancing academics and lacrosse because it's much more, I guess you have a much different sort of type of academic workload than you had in high school.
Yes. It's all about time management is what you find out is you really have to manage your time. We get a lot of guidance at our school from tutors to group study sessions to, let's see, like walking into our coach's office. They're super supportive. And if you're stressed, you can just sit down and talk with them. So that's been a big help of like just a big stress relief and being able to have that connection with your coaching staff as well as like managing your time. You're surrounded by 40 girls who are going through the exact same thing you are if they haven't already. So it's super supportive environment. So that definitely helps.
Now you play in the Big Ten, so what's it like being a part of that conference and just the competition that you guys face each game?
It's a dream come true, I would say. My younger self is screaming right now because this is what I dreamed of since a kid, playing against some of the best competition, the best teams in the country. And it's awesome. Going into every game, it's you can't underestimate anyone, no matter the rank. Like we look at every game we go into, it's just a number, right? Whatever. So whether we're ranked higher or they're ranked higher, it's just a number. And that's the cool thing about sports is anyone can win on any given day. And so we kind of just go in with that type of mindset. So it's awesome to play against some of the best people. You learn, you grow, and you get to have fun while doing it.
Now, one more individual question before we talk about your team from last year is what do you think was the biggest improvement you've made to your game throughout your freshman year?
Yeah, I would say the mental toughness and mental aspect of our game. It's really easy to get in your head and really dwell on one little mistake, miss pass, miss shot. And I do that a lot to myself, but I would say that I have gotten improved on the mental toughness of that aspect of it's a team sport. Like no one's perfect and you control what you can control and keep moving on. So our coaching staff has been really good about that and they really trust us in the decisions we make. So that has been an awesome support system to help with this.
And it's also important just to remember that everyone is going to not be scoring 500 goals a game and being perfect. Like even like Izzy Skane probably makes a ton of mistakes in a game. So I think
Mhm.
just having that mindset of just sort of having a goldfish mind and forgetting about it and just trying to focus on what you can do best each play, I think is
Yeah,
important to have. So I'm with you on that. That's a good skill
absolutely.
to learn during being a student athlete.
Hmm.
Now, let's talk about your team. So, your team this past season, from my perspective, I thought started the year very up and down. But then down the stretch, you guys really locked in and beat some really good ranked opponents like Michigan and Penn State before you guys were upset by Rutgers in the Big Ten playoffs. My question to you is what was your team's mindset heading into the tournament, and what did you just take away from your regular season overall last year?
Yeah, we just wanted to take it day by day, right? We were super excited to be able to be a part of the NCAA tournament. So we wanted to really cherish every moment. Something in our team and that our coaches really harp on is living in the moment and you can't look ahead. You have to kind of take it day by day, one game at a time. And this time together goes by really fast. So cherish those moments. And I would say that was our mindset going in. And I think our takeaway is we grew so much as a team. And I couldn't be happier that I got to be in on that team and experience like our win against UMass. It really allowed us to show the world Blue Jay lacrosse and what we are all about and just to show that like all of our hard work did pay off in the end.
Yeah, that was my next question. Obviously, you guys won your first ever tournament game against UMass. I think that was everyone on the team's first tournament win, if I'm not mistaken. So just talk about that win and sort of what it meant for your program, from your perspective, and what you just took away from that experience overall.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like I said, it gave us the opportunity to show what we were all about and that we're really not here to mess around. We came here to make a statement and show what we are about. It was awesome. I got the really cool opportunity to play in my hometown. We played at Syracuse, so that was really cool, I would say, and something that not many people get to experience. So I got to really cherish that and value that. So that's a memory I will always have. I will have forever is being able to play in my hometown and get our first win. It's incredible.
And unfortunately, your season came to a close, losing to Syracuse in the next round. How have you reflected on that loss as a team, and what did you take away from that performance and just the overall performance, I guess, from last season? And how do you guess your team hopes to use that for the upcoming year?
Yeah. Yeah. Quite honestly, personally, we don't think that the score reflects how talented our team is. We kind of go in like we can play against anyone we put our mind to. Might have not been our day, but we're using this as fuel coming into this year is like, okay, like we're here not to mess around and we want to go into the hopefully this season and NCAA tournament, Big Ten tournament, and show everyone what we're about, that we can play with anyone well, that we kind of put our mind to and play Blue Jay lacrosse. So we're using this as fuel under us to yeah, just to play, get our season started and hopefully go further to championship weekend this year.
So we're now in a segment I like to call five questions that have nothing to do with sports. And the goal of the segment is to hopefully get to know you a little bit more off the field. So first one is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
I would say Blake Lively. I really like her a lot. Everything she's played in, everything I've watched, her relationship with her family off of the movie screen. She's just a super cool person. I would say her.
I always say Ryan Reynolds, so very similar answer to yours.
Yeah.
But maybe if they ever made a movie about your life, you could play me in the podcast scene, for like a few minutes. I think that would be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, New Year's is coming up, or at the time of this, when people are listening to this, it has already come by. But what is the most underrated holiday and what's the most overrated holiday in your opinion?
The most underrated holiday, 4th of July. I love the 4th of July. And overrated is Halloween, I would think. I'm not a big Halloween person. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're either really into it or you're really not.
Yes.
Like, there's
There's
some
no.
people that dress up, and I could never
Mhm.
do that. But I always think it's like after you can't trick or treat anymore, it's just not the same.
Yes. Yeah.
For me, underrated would probably be like Thanksgiving. Maybe Easter. Easter's always a good time. I feel like no one really
Yeah.
talks about how fun that is. So I'd say those two.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously have the best off the field style on your team. Maybe it's the blue jerseys. It's one of the better jerseys in college lacrosse, in my opinion. But besides yourself, who would you say has the best style on your team?
On our team right now, I would give it to Paris. She's a junior, number 21. Um, she has great style, super cool. I would also when I just heard this question, it brings me to last year's team, Madison McPherson. Shout out to Madison. She she's at Stanford now for her 5th year. But she always had the coolest style, coolest outfits, coolest shoes. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Madison.
Nice, nice. Well, she'll be on the podcast soon, or it's probably been out by the time this one's released. So, I guess this is really a tease, but you get to know about it before everyone else does. So,
Awesome.
well, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
This one makes me laugh. First thing that comes to my head, most interesting thing I've seen this week is my parents trying to play pickleball. We've been really into pickleball recently, and it gives us me and my sister a really good laugh watching them play.
Yeah, I heard pickleball. A lot of people getting hurt doing that.
That's what I've heard
So
too.
if my message to your parents would be careful because I guess people are pulling muscles and stuff playing that because
Oh
they're going
yeah.
very into it. So.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
I've never played pickleball, but for some reason, we have a pickleball channel on our TV. So I've been I watched that for like 5 seconds and I was like, this is crazy. So,
It's
um,
awesome. It's so much fun. I mean, we play pickleball at Hopkins during like finals when we were kind of getting suiting up for NCAAs. We made a pickleball court right outside of our lacrosse center called it's Cordish, right outside of Cordish, and we would get girls. We'd text in our group chat. Our coaches would play with us, and we just would all be playing pickleball in the sun. It was so much fun.
who do you think was the best pickleball player on your team?
Oh my gosh, Graz, our coach, she is unbelievable. Graz and Campbell, I would say, are both so good.
Now, last non-lacrosse question is, what is one item on your bucket list that you hope to do one day?
An item on my bucket list. I want to go skydiving. It just seems like a thrill. My dad and brother did it and they had so much fun. So I want to go skydiving and I also want to see the Northern Lights. Those are two on my bucket list, top two.
Nice. I would never go skydiving. I'm too scared to do that. So I'm fine here on the land. I don't want to risk
Yeah.
that too much. So I guess maybe for me, like sort of like learn how to fly a plane. I think that would be cool.
Yes.
It's hard to
Yes.
do it and it's expensive, but I feel
Mhm.
like I would, if I ever had the money and time, I would love to learn how to do that at some point.
Yeah, it's really cool. My uncle flies and he has his own plane and he took me up and it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really
And it'd just be nice, like I want to go somewhere. Just hop on a plane
you
and
just
fly
fly. You
there.
fly your own.
Yeah, it'd just be nice. So
Yeah.
we're getting back to some lacrosse questions now. What should be done to help grow women's lacrosse from your perspective?
I think that putting lacrosse becoming a part of the Olympics is a great first step. That just it's nationwide. I think it's a great first step, but just kind of growing the knowledge of lacrosse down south, out west, just getting that word out, camps out there, all of that stuff would really help grow the sport.
Well, there's a lot of new fans to the sport, including myself, I would put in that category. So why should we cheer for John Hopkins next year? I'm trying to find a team to root for, so I thought I would
Yeah.
ask you.
Yeah, I think you should cheer for John Hopkins because we have such a unique play style. We don't really have set offenses. It's really hard to scout us because we have one set form and it's just we read our defender and go from there. It's really unique. It's not something you see a lot of other offenses do. We play a really aggressive defense and it makes it a lot of fun to watch. So I would say that is why you should cheer for Hopkins because we're it's just a unique type of team and gritty D. I think I think it'll be awesome this year.
And you have great jerseys too, on top of
And we
that.
have great colors. Our
Yeah.
colors, I would say, I know it's a little biased, are the best in the game, but
Yeah, I like the blue. I don't know if that's the home
yeah.
or road one, but the all blue is my favorite. But I do
Yes.
think the
Me
black
too.
looks cool with the blue lettering. It's
Hmm.
just all of them look good. So I
Yes.
would say
Yes.
those two are my favorite. But
Yeah, I'm a
the
big
white
fan of the
ones,
blue.
the white ones are kind of everyone has those, so I can't really say
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a big fan of the baby blue ones. They're all like it's such a pretty color, fun to look
Hmm.
at. Not many people have it, so it's unique.
Now, before we let you go, Ava, do you have any shout outs you want to give to your family members, teammates, and friends? And who should we have on the podcast next?
Yeah, well, shout out to the whole Johns Hopkins women's lacrosse team and our coaching staff. Um, I would say for the podcast next, I have a really good friend, Franny Argentary. She plays goalie at Northwestern. She's coming off winning a national championship. So she is someone that I train with on breaks over the summer. We have a really good friendship. So I think it'd be really interesting to talk to her. You get a goalie perspective. And she's just coming off a national championship. So you get to hear all those good stories.
Oh, for
So I would
sure,
say
for
Franny
sure.
Argentary.
Well, Ava, I just want to say thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. I think you're a great player and an even better person, so I just want to let you know that. And excited to see what your team accomplishes for next season. But thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Yeah, so did I. Thank you so much for having me.